Hello and welcome to another episode of Know Your Politicians. I am your host Danish bin Nabi. Today we are in conversation with student activist turned politician and former vice president of JNU Students Union, Shehla Rashid Shora. Shehla came into limelight after Kanhaiya Kumar's arrest in 2016. She subsequently joined Jammu and Kashmir's People's Movement, while most of us back in the valley thought that she would be joining National Conference. Let's hear her out. Welcome, Shehla. Let me begin by asking you, why did you join Jammu Kashmir People's Movement when rumors were rife that you are going to join National Conference?
See, a rumor is a rumor, but in my heart, I thought that this is a good initiative. And Faisal Saab and I, we had been in touch for a while. And for a while, we had been struggling with this question of, what is the alternative in Jammu and Kashmir? Because PDP used to be the alternative for a long time before they joined hands with the BJP. And that is something that as youth, we felt very disillusioned with, that there was no buffer, no mainstream voice that represents the aspirations of people, no alternative voice in the mainstream. And that is something we felt that is a need that needs to be fulfilled.
So when did you actually get in touch with Shah Faisal Saab?
We have been in touch with each other for a while, and for about a year and a half, we kept struggling with this question. Ever since the PDP joined hands with the BJP, more precisely, and ever since then, we have been thinking that the only mainstream voice that used to represent people's aspirations, that has been appropriated by the BJP, that is now over. It does not represent the people's voice anymore. And this is something that we've been frustrated with for a while. And I believe many people like us.
But once in one of your interviews, you have always also said that you have a soft corner for National Conference.
I did not say that. When people ask me questions about Sheikh Abdullah and when they ask me questions about the 1930 workers' movement, then yes, my family, people from my family, someone from my family has actually been the first martyr of the 1930 workers' movement, because I come from a carpenter family. That is, we are from the city, and we are, in our collective history, those struggles have played a very important role. And Sheikh Abdullah was a part of those struggles. He was a leader of those struggles. And yes, that is something that I hold very close.
And,
the land reforms and all of that.
And do you think Shah Faisal would do all those things? He would be a better person?
I think that we have to collectively support a leader and guide him when he is wrong. So far, he has not done anything wrong. But I think that our collective resolve is that we will not betray the people's mandate. We will not ally with forces like the BJP. I think we are very clear on that from day one.
So National Conference and PDP both have betrayed the mandate of the people.
Anyone who first campaigns against BJP and then allies with BJP, that I think is something that should not be done.
And in your eyes, both have done so?
Both have done so. I mean, NC long ago and PDP in more recent memory. So BJP also is now getting more and more rabid. So, Vajpayee's BJP is different from Modi's BJP. It's different from Sadhvi Pragya's BJP. So I think that BJP is becoming more and more out of bounds for any progressive person who dreams of a better world. I don't think that they can ally with the BJP.
You came from a national stage to the local stage over here. You had a better chance being a politician on the national stage. Why did you choose to come back?
Because I did not want to join any existing party. There were offers from a lot of parties outside, and I wasn't convinced that I want to join an existing party either in Kashmir or in outside Kashmir.
You were also not convinced by the Aam Aadmi Party.
See, I have some differences with the Aam Aadmi Party. The Aam Aadmi Party is doing a wonderful job, I must say. If you look at the condition of schools,
but then why you did not join them?
See, Aam Aadmi Party, I believe their social justice agenda has to be more clear. I think that the question of reservations is something that is very close to my heart. And in fact, before I joined Faisal Saab's party, I actually asked him, you do believe in reservation, right? Because be it in India or be it in our own state, there are many marginalized communities.
And what did Faisal Saab respond?
Yes, he does believe in reservations. We both do. And I think that whether you talk about the state or whether you talk about India overall, there are marginalized communities like the Dalits, like the tribals or the disabled for that matter. they need reservation. And in fact, women need reservation. You know, if you see women's representation in assembly, in parliament, it has never crossed a certain mark. And women are very much underrepresented. That is something, that should be done. There should be
And
33% reservation.
what was the most motivating factor of coming back to Kashmir Valley?
I think that it happened organically. You know, I was talking about secularism and communalism in Delhi, while in my own state, in our own backyard, Kathua was happening. And that is something that, I don't know, pinched me very deeply when I saw all these people, so-called nationalists, roaming around with the tricolor in support of a rapist. That is something that pinched me very deeply. I would say that's what happened.
On 23rd May this year, the counting day, you tweeted saying, I clearly remember 16th May 2014. Everyone was rushing to JNU Students' Union office to watch the Lok Sabha results. I had a naive belief that Arvind Kejriwal would become PM, that India would reject a mass murderer. That was the first time that I felt a Muslim in India. Two questions. You are calling the Prime Minister of the country a mass murderer?
I think that you cannot say that when I was Gujarat Chief Minister, the good roads are because of me, the good economy is because of me, the good business rules of ease of doing business is because of me, and the riot, oh well, sorry, I don't know about that. You can't say that. You can't take credit for all the good things. And when it comes to the bad things, then you say, oh well, sorry, not my fault. It doesn't work that way. I think that the Prime Minister, if he's such a strong administrator, under his watch for 3 days, people were being mercilessly murdered. Pregnant women had their wombs cut apart. And you think Prime Minister is not responsible for that, the then Chief Minister? What kind of a good administrator is he then?
He is a mass murderer. Are you trying to say that?
He has been accused of genocide, yes. And for a very long time, countries like the US, the UK, they did not actually allow him to visit because he's been accused of genocide, basically.
But now he is visiting them more often.
Because he's the Prime Minister, that's who people elected. And now he's going as he's in a diplomatic position. But when he was not the head of a state, he was not allowed to visit these countries. Now, after 5 years, we will have Sadhvi Pragya. We will have to self-censor ourselves while calling her a terror accused. But that's who she is. That's who these people are.
And it's for the first time you touch the Muslim identity. Why so?
See, I think in 2015, I had written a blog post, 16th May 2015, when it was 1 year of Modi's prime ministership. I've grown up in Kashmir. I'm not a minority here. I'm in the majority. I'm a Sunni Muslim. So I don't know what it feels like to be a minority. But living in Delhi, I did my MA and MPhil there. So 4 years I lived in Delhi. And I felt like a minority when on a daily basis there is this news of love jihad and cow violence and all these ghar wapsi and all the many different ways in which Muslims were harassed, lynchings. That is something that affected me very deeply. Yes, for me it's not a question that I can take for granted. When people of my community are suffering, yes, I do have empathy.
So Muslims have an imminent threat under Modi regime?
I think a very big threat. And this is something that the international community, in fact, should take note of. The way that lynchings are happening, the way these are being encouraged. In the previous regime, we had 2 ministers, Jayant Sinha and Mahesh Sharma, who actually encouraged lynching accused. They garlanded lynching victims. They gave almost like state funeral to lynching accused. That just shows that this is state-sponsored terrorism. Lynching.
But India is a Hindu country. The majority of the people are Hindus. So what's wrong if they are asking for a Hindu Rashtra or a Hindu government over there?
See, when you are traveling in a train, there is a women's compartment. But that does not mean that the general compartment is a male compartment. So if you think of the women's compartment as Pakistan, sure, Pakistan is a Muslim nation, avowedly so. But the general compartment is not a male compartment. It's a compartment for men and women. Similarly, India is that general compartment, which is for Hindus and Muslims. It is not a Hindu nation. It has a constitution. It's a secular, sovereign, democratic republic, at least on paper. And we must continue to fight for it to remain so.
You also went to Begusarai for your comrade's
yes.
election campaign.
Yes.
He only bagged 2 lakh votes. What do you think went wrong?
I think that we need to work harder, and I think that we need to analyze very deeply why BJP is winning, what they are doing right on the ground and what we are doing wrong on the ground. and I think it calls for much more hard work, much more introspection, much more strategy and planning.
You also called Pragya Thakur the terrorist in one of your tweets.
Not just Pragya Thakur, tomorrow you will have Asim Anand. Asim Anand may be a cabinet minister. He is someone who has confessed to having planned all these terror attacks that Saudi Pragya was a part of. There were others. There was Colonel Purohit who was part of it. There was, Sunil Joshi. He was murdered later by the RSS. There were so many people. Aditya Nath had met when he was a sitting MP. He had met Sunil Joshi, the ground operative who was carrying out all these attacks. All these people were involved in these, serial blasts, Ajmer Sharif, Malegaon,
But
etc.
then there is no formidable opponent to the Modi. We have seen on May 23rd as well.
You're right. But we will continue to oppose what is wrong, and I think that
Continue
it's not just...
to oppose
See,
on
it's
what?
not,
He has over 353 seats.
Sure, he does, but we also stand for something. Now, just because he is the prime minister, that doesn't mean we give in to his brand of politics. We also have some beliefs, we have some principles. We believe that a certain thing is wrong or right. We stand for pro-immigrant politics. We stand for progressive gender politics. We stand for minority rights. We're not going to stop standing for those rights, standing for those things, even if we are killed.
And do you think Rahul Gandhi is the face of the opposition?
I don't think so. I think that India, frankly, it needs a new progressive party. We have seen the example of the US, where a new progressive politics is kind of taking rise, but that's happening under the Democratic Party banner, because in the Democratic Party there is a system whereby new people can come.
Don't you feel that Muslims should have their own representative in mainland India?
I think that Muslims or Hindus,
before partition, we had this Muslim League.
I think that all progressives, whether they are Hindu or Muslim, whoever they are, they should organize under a progressive party banner and they should work. I think that for 5 years we have no other job but to work on the ground with a strategy that is, I think 30 years strategy, we have to work with that.
Let's come to the state now. Why do you think is the student organizations ban in the Kashmir?
So this so-called ban on student organizations is not a ban in the real sense, in the sense that it's not backed by law. It is something that the politicians have de facto put in place so that new leaders do not come up. People who are not from dynasty, they do not come up. This is a ban that has been ensured to, that has been put in place to ensure that no democratic voices, no new voices come up from the ground.
And do you think this ban has choked the voice of the students?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that student politics has to be protected. Discourse in universities has to be protected, even if it's subversive discourse. Even if people are talking about Azadi, you need to allow them to talk about things. Because academic discourse has to have a greater protection. Now, if you go to a medical college and you say that, oh, sorry, you cannot talk about the reproductive system because it's obscene, then you can as well shut the medical college. Similarly, when you go to a university and you don't allow people to talk about how nations are made, you might as well shut down the university.
So, there should not be any ban about the...
No, what is the point? I mean, see, I have given lectures on student politics in Harvard, in Warwick, in Japan, in every university except Kashmir University. Because here we don't allow people to talk about student politics. That is somehow too controversial for this place. I think that we are suppressing the creative potential of people. We are killing leadership. We are killing the thought process of people that as a society makes us dead.
Let me come to the last question of the interview. When we look at the people like you, the general perception among the masses is it's another project of Government of India. How do you respond to your critics?
I can't blame the people because here so many games have been played. There are so many agencies at work. There are so many forces at work. I don't really blame the people, and I don't even blame the people when they say, how can we trust you? We trusted the PDP, and that didn't go very well. I think that we have to slowly earn people's trust. We are in no hurry. We have time on our side. We are not 60-year-olds. We are 30-year-olds. We have time on our side. We'll prove ourselves. We'll prove our sincerity.
Is New Delhi to be blamed for such a perception in Kashmir?
Every force, there are many foreign forces here at work. It's not just New Delhi. There are a lot of foreign forces here at work.
Can you name few?
Everyone knows who they are. There are so many outside agencies here at work that there is a general distrust that has developed among people. Somebody is representing Pakistan, somebody is representing India, somebody is representing Saudi. Who is representing Kashmiris? I think that Kashmiris need a genuine voice, and I'm not saying that we are that voice. We want to become that voice, but we want to earn the trust of people. We don't want to take shortcuts.
Shehla, on this note, thank you very much for talking to the
Thank
Indus
you.
Post. Thank you.